Well, good afternoon, Central Georgia. I actually just did one of these just 2 hours ago, and I am back here for the 4 o'clock hour. Now, you may have saw my Facebook post on the main page on 13WAZ where I asked if any of you can comment down below so that I can answer multiple questions. That's going to be at the end of the stream. But as of right now, I'm going to start off by a quick briefing on any updates we've seen, and I'm also going to give you the rundown of the details that we're going to see for later tonight and early tomorrow morning. So we're going to start off by an overview of the weather impact alert. We issued this on Wednesday, but we've seen not many changes so far. The timing still the same, Saturday late night, Sunday morning. Typically, we've seen from the past weather impact alerts that's always Sunday early morning. Well, it's going to impact us for the majority of the morning. So even though it's expected to hit us late in the night for our most western counties, for majority of central Georgia, it's going to be a morning event. The impacts, gusty winds and thunderstorms, specifically severe thunderstorms. I think the storms are going to be more widespread in nature, and we can also have an increased chance of tornadoes. The need, stay weather aware, have a way to receive alerts. I'm going to move this little desk right here just to show you, and have a way to, of course, to receive possible alerts, especially tornado warnings. That's going to be very important, especially during the overnight. So I'm going to start off by showing you the outlook for today. So I'm going to start zoomed out just to show you some of the changes that we've seen so far today. So yesterday we had the level 4 out of 5 risk extended for portions of the far western areas of Georgia. And we also have seen the upgrade of the level 5 out of 5 risk for portions of Mississippi and Alabama. Today, that level 4 out of 5 risk was extended, but thankfully not into central Georgia. However, it was extended into far south Tennessee, which is a good sign because that just keeps our messaging, meaning that the storms are expected to gradually weaken as they head into the level 4 areas, the level 3 areas here in central Georgia, and then ultimately the level 2 and level 1 areas. Now, I did see a comment on the 13WZ main page saying, why do I keep showing the far western states? Well, this is important to the overall message because we're trying to say that the maximum strength of these storms will be into the level 5 out of 5 risks. But when it enters central Georgia, as you notice here, it will gradually weaken into the level 4 out of 5 zones, into the level 3 out of 5 zones, and into the level 2 out of 5 zones. That is the overall message of what we're trying to say as we show these outlooks. Now, we do have that level 4 out of 5 risk for the far, far western tip of Upson County, but then, of course, majority of central Georgia into that level 3 out of 5 zone. Here's a satellite radar so far. Today it's actually been a quiet day, and actually the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dublin turned out great. We have some scattered clouds all throughout central Georgia, but it's been dry. Now, if I go to the western states where the storms are at right now, the storms are in the places within the level 5 out of 5 areas. So meaning that the storms are now supposed to be at their maximum strength. We've had multiple tornadoes confirmed already. And if we zoom in just to show you where these tornado warnings are, they're within the eastern parts of Mississippi heading into Alabama. I'm going to turn on the convective outlooks just to show you where the warnings are in respect to the overall risks. So now they're entering the level 5 out of 5 risks for severe weather. Now, one thing I want to show you so far from these storms, and this is a good point in terms of comparing these to the past storms we've seen in the past couple of months. So in the springtime and the winter, typically when we have fronts like this, the storms are in a very straight line. And the main threats, of course, are straight line winds. Now, the difference between this storm and the reason why we've seen higher risks in terms of severe weather is because these storms are broken, they're disorganized. And we're seeing that we have cells within these broken lines of storms, and these cells are called supercells. Now, supercells can produce tornadoes, but they can produce tornadoes that are long-lived, not compared to the springtime tornadoes that we see from those straight lines that are short-lived. And we use the term spin-up tornadoes, where they touch the ground for one moment, and then they go back up into the air. These tornadoes are not following that same trend. They're part of the broken line, disorganized cells, and they are longer lived and they could be stronger in nature. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to do a little bit of tornado coverage because we have some tornadoes confirmed. There you go. So right here, our Max machine, our graphics shows that they are confirmed, and they're confirmed by people on the ground taking pictures, storm chasers showing us that, hey, there's a tornado, it's on the ground, it's causing damage, and we immediately know it is a confirmed tornado. So this tornado, the tornado warning zone, the confirmed tornado, is within Covington, Jones, Lamar, and Smith County. This tornado warning is extended towards 4 o'clock. Now, we know it's 4 o'clock now, but this is 4 o'clock Central Time, so in the next hour. So I'm going to go into the reflectivity. And when I mean cells from these disorganized storms, this is a perfect example of how disorganized they are. Notice we see kinks within that line, so we know that wind is going into the opposite direction right here. That is not going into the main movement of these storms. So we know that winds are clashing together and that there is rotation currently going on. So I'm going to pull up the velocity right here just to show you the winds and where the rotation is. Notice here the differences in color right here. We see light blue and you see light green. It's coupled together. That's the rotation, and it has been confirmed, and it's moving towards the northeast into Collins. So that is what we're looking at right now. That is just one of the multiple tornado warnings and one of the multiple confirmed tornadoes that is occurring right now within the level 5 out of 5 zones. So I'm going to go back to reflectivity. I'm going to zoom out. So the overall message so far, these storms are different than the other storms that we see in the spring, and they're disorganized, they have supercells, and we have the increased chances of tornadoes, and it is at its maximum strength as it's entering the level 5 out of 5 zones. But then what the trend is supposed to be, what we're forecasting and what the SPC is forecasting is, once this line moves into the far eastern parts of Alabama into the level 4 out of 5 zones, going into the western parts of Georgia, that's where it's going to start losing steam. But as it moves into central Georgia, it's still going to come in hot. It's going to pack a punch for our far western counties, but then it's going to gradually lose steam as it moves through central Georgia into the level 2 out of 5 zones. Tornado chances decrease, and then decreasing as it moves off into the coast. So I think the Future View does a better idea of showing that, and also it's also going to show the overall timing of these storms. So as we progress through the evening, 6, 7 o'clock, moving into Birmingham, where it's still into that level 5 out of 5 zone, moving into the far eastern parts of Alabama, 8 to 9 o'clock. Then it should approach far northwest Georgia by 10, approaching the Atlanta metro, 11 o'clock. And then midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, we can see some cells, some of the stuff ahead of the main front affect the far northwestern portions of central Georgia. So Jasper County, Monroe County, Pike, Lamar, Upson County, 2 to 1 in the morning. That's when you could see portions of the leading edge of the storm affect your area. Heading into 3 in the morning, that's when it should move, the majority of the line should move into the northwestern portion. So Crawford County, Putnam County, Taylor County at this point, Peach County, and then also creeping into Bibb County at that point. 4 in the morning, moving into Macon, Warner Robins, Perry. By 5 in the morning, crossing I-75, heading into I-16. So Wilkinson County, Twiggs County, Washington County, Hancock County at that time, 5 in the morning. 6 in the morning, going to the level 2 out of 5 zones. So places such as Johnson County, Trutland County, Wheeler County, Telfair County. By 7 in the morning, starting to leave our area. 9 in the morning, that's when we could see some behind the line storms still affecting us in the southeastern counties. and then it should be completely gone by our neck of the woods 11 o'clock in the morning. Now, once we get into noon, sunny. It's going to be a beautiful day for the afternoon, and it should be clear in the evening. St. Patrick's Day, once again, beautiful. But that's the overall timing of these storms, and it goes to show that it should gradually weaken as it treks through our neck of the woods. Now, we talk about winds, but overall the main question so far from these storms are the tornado potential. So we've highlighted that the chances of tornadoes are at the highest right now into the level 5 out of 5 zones, so into Alabama and Mississippi. Notice the red right there going to Montgomery. That's expected. This is the level 5 out of 5 zone, so seeing bright red, orange. But once it goes into the level 4 out of 4 zones, you can see that those colors start to fade a little bit. You see more yellow, you see more orange. So going into the western counties west of I-75, it's more green, it's more yellow. These are the places where they have the highest chances of tornadoes in central Georgia, but these chances are way lower than what the areas in the level 5 out of 5 are experiencing right now, because the ingredients are now being taken away, and you still have ingredients for tornadoes to form, but it's not as much as what the places in Alabama and Mississippi are currently experiencing. Then as we get to 4 or 5 o'clock, when the storm continues to move into the level 2 out of 5 zones, the chances decrease, but notice it's not zero. So everywhere in central Georgia has the chance of seeing a tornado, but the main thing is it's not going to be as high as places such as in Alabama and Mississippi. And then once we get into 9, 10 in the morning, the chances kind of increase, but not for central Georgia, but for Savannah and for South Carolina, because you get the increase in moisture and you get daytime heating once again, because this is after sunrise. So that is our tornado chances as of right now. Now I'm going to show you humidity, because these are one of the ingredients for storms to develop and one of the ingredients needed for tornadoes as well. Now you can see the humidity is not bad. As shown right here in the light green, not bad. However, it's kind of high for this time of year. We're still in early to mid-March. So dew points are into the 60s. This is enough to sustain storms and cause tornadoes. But notice here, I'm going to show you a wide zoom of the south, just to show you that the places in the level 5 out of 5 zone, they have increased moisture, more moisture than what we're experiencing right now. And this is due to something called the low-level jet. And the low-level jet is the main reason why these storms are robust, and this is why it has the main attention across the country for the level 5 out of 5 zones, because notice a pocket of winds coming from the Gulf, and you see dark green right here. That's bringing in that moisture and that warm air into the level 5 out of 5 zones. That's why the tornado chances are super high for these areas. But then as we go throughout the time, so later at night, you notice we see less green and we see more just widespread light green for our area, meaning that the moisture is decreasing. We still have that chance for tornadoes, but not as high for areas within Alabama and in Mississippi. All right. So the next thing to show is the winds. So right now, if you walk outside, you can notice that the gusts are already heavy. We haven't even experienced the storms already, but the gusts, Macon, 29 miles per hour, Butler, 25 miles per hour, Thomaston, 29 miles per hour. So it is windy. You have to hold on to your hats if you're walking outside. And showing the wind for the later today, it's going to continue to be windy, because anytime you have a front moving in, just for a period of time ahead of it, it's just going to be windy. It's a form of saying that, hey, we're having a difference in air coming through. So that's expected. But then in the future view wind graphic, it shows the line, and you see values 40 miles per hour, near 40 in Macon as that line is moving through. I think that's a little misleading, because we're expecting widespread severe weather, and we also have the storms being in a broken line of cells. So you can have widespread severe weather, severe thunderstorms, and one of the things that you need for severe thunderstorms are winds over 60 miles per hour. So even if you're seeing 40 miles per hour, I still think the winds will be locally heavy, for the areas experiencing the storm. So, of course, all of central Georgia. So the main concern overall is, once again, straight line winds, even with the tornado chances. Now, I think there will be individual cells that will have storms that has winds even over 60 miles per hour. I can see winds reaching 70 to 80 miles per hour for portions of central Georgia. And then once that line moves in, so Sunday, late morning in the afternoon, winds begin to die down to regular levels. So we have a wind advisory by the National Weather Service. I think this is a little redundant because the wind advisory is not covering the storms. It's covering what we're experiencing right now, so gusts of up to 35 miles per hour. This, once again, is not the main story. The main story is the storms. I don't know if any of you are here watching me just because we have a wind advisory. We're here because, winds could be really strong during the storm. So technically we have a wind advisory till 5 in the morning, but the main story is the storms. So I'm going to recap the impacts that we can see for later today. Once again, a line of severe storms late night Saturday heading into tomorrow morning. Gusty winds and thunderstorms, widespread severe weather. Anytime you have a line of storms, the main concern is, severe thunderstorms with straight line winds reaching 60, and I think in this case could be 80 miles per hour. Hail is of course possible. I think they'll be over an inch in diameter. Some hail could be potentially 2 or even larger, but that's not the main concern. Straight line winds is the main concern, but with this system, we also have an added concern of tornadoes. In springtime, tornadoes, weak, short-lived, spin-up tornadoes, touching the ground, immediately going back up. But when we have supercells, these tornadoes could be multiple, and you can also have long-lived tornadoes. But to ease the anxieties, yes, we have an increased chance of tornadoes, but they're not as high as what we're seeing in Alabama and in Mississippi. So the highest chances of tornadoes are in west central Georgia, but I think everyone could see a tornado warning here in central Georgia. It is possible. So here are the things that you should do to prepare for the storms that are coming later tonight and tomorrow morning. So know your safe spot. I think now is the time to identify a safe spot in your house or in any building that you're going to sleep in for later tonight. I have a graphic prepared for after this graphic just to show you more in depth what I mean by a safe spot. Turn on weather alerts and be familiar with your county on the map. So turning on your weather alerts, that's the main importance for what you need to do. Having a weather radio, that'd be fantastic. Having a weather radio is great, but on your phone, you can go on your phone settings, make sure you have the notifications to receive emergency alerts so that they can wake you up. But that also goes to show that you need your devices charged because, of course, they need to be on in order for your phones or any electronic devices to warn you. Now, to be familiar with your county on your map, I'm pretty sure everyone that is watching knows where they're located, but if you don't, because later tonight, Ben Jones, of course, he's going to give you the coverage, and he's going to show you the map showing you where the possible rotations are, or where the severe thunderstorms are packing the highest winds. And if you're within a tornado warning, of course, you just need to know where your county is located so that we're saying, hey, rotations right here, with tornado warnings is within your county. You need to know that we're talking about you. So that'll be very important. And of course, secure loose items. So straight line winds, it's going to be strong, and then the potential of tornadoes. So if you have loose items outside, even if you are not within a tornado warning, and hopefully you're not affected by a tornado, hopefully, the straight line winds could still cause these loose items to be blown around and cause some additional damage that we just don't need. So that's going to be important to secure the loose items. Now, to know your safe spot, here is a graphic to show you what the safe spots are within your house or within your buildings. Here you go. So when you're within a tornado warning, it's going to be very important to know what your safe spot is. So there's 3 things that classify a safe spot. So the number one thing is to be in the lowest level possible. So within your first floor, basements, that's going to be the most ideal spot. But I know many people in central Georgia do not have a basement. So if you have a basement, great, immediately go there for a warning. If you don't worry. There's other places within your house or in your building that can constitute as a safe spot. So lowest level, and then most interior portion of your home or of your building. What we mean by that is in a hallway, so notice the hallway right here, middle portion, or if you have a bathroom within the most interior portion of your house or your building, that's going to be ideal as well. But the main thing about this is just to have as many walls in between you and the outside as possible, because those walls can act as barriers between you and potential debris from a tornado or just a strong wind event. That's going to be very important. And also, if you identify the safe spot, you can cover yourself with blankets or mattresses for added protection. If you're within a tornado warning, or if we have a confirmed tornado, also having a bike helmet, because that's going to be really good just to protect your head from any debris. That's going to be really, really good and ideal as well. And away from windows, because once again, windows can shatter, that glass can fly around, and we really don't want that to affect you at all. So all of this is meant to protect you, especially from a tornado warning and from a severe thunderstorm warning. I know there's a lot of anxiety out there in regards to these storms. Anytime we talk about tornado, every time we bring up the name tornado, of course, that's going to induce a lot of anxiety. I'm here to tell you right now, if you follow these procedures, you will be fine. Most likely you'll be fine. Most likely you won't see a tornado. The chances of you seeing a tornado are very low. We've had multiple events all throughout the years, and we talk about the increased chances of tornadoes. And sometimes we see tornado warnings, and we've received confirmed tornadoes over the past couple of years. But overall, the chances out of the 500,000 people in central Georgia, the chances of affecting you are very low. But that doesn't mean to not take this seriously. We really just want you to stay prepared in case you are within a tornado warning or if you're within a path of a confirmed tornado. Now, our motto is that we'll be the calm throughout the storm. We'll make sure we'll keep you informed, but we'll also be with you all throughout the night, all throughout the morning to give you the most updated coverage. And we'll also tell you, hey, something is near. It's best to go into your safe spot right now. Could be something, could be nothing, but we're here just to ease your anxieties. So that is our main goal, not only to inform you, but to keep you calm throughout the event. So I mentioned this from the start, and I'm going to say it again. I went earlier on 13WZ, I went over on my social media pages and asked, hey, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So now I'm finished with my briefing and my discussion, so now it's time to answer the questions. So I'm going to load up my phone right here. Okay. All right, so I have a question. I'm going to go to my main page right now. Is Cordele expected to get strong winds with these storms? Got a few trees in the area. That makes me nervous. So I think Cordele definitely have the chance to have strong winds. You're within the level 3 zone, so you're in one of the counties in the far western parts of central Georgia, close to the level 4. So I do expect the winds to be strong in these areas. I think everyone in central Georgia are going to see strong winds. The winds will definitely be stronger the more west you are, and then if you're within that level 2, they might be a little weaker, but still enough to cause damage. Now, if you have trees around you, even without a tornado warning, as I mentioned, straight line winds are going to be a concern. So I will highly advise just to, ride it out in the most interior spot, in the safe spot. Just stay away from windows. Just make sure if you have a lot of trees just near you, I suggest just being within a place where you can have enough distance from a potential tree, potentially being knocked down onto you. Like that would be the most ideal situation possible. Just having that severe weather preparedness and just being weather aware, making sure you're just away from the trees. But the good news is, as you're in the most far western counties or far most western portions of central Georgia, you'll be one of the first people to experience these storms. So I don't think you'll experience these storms late in the morning. So that's a silver lining there. All right, so I'm going to go into the 13WZ main page. I saw some questions there. There we go. And I think I saw a lot of people asking about their specific spots. So one of the first, the Perry area. All right, so Perry is in the level 3 out of 5 zone. Perry is in that area where it's in the most middle portion of central Georgia. So it's not going to be as strong as places towards our northwest. So Monroe County, Upson County, Jasper County, and Taylor County. It's not going to be the same strength as those areas. I'm going to go to the future view there. Let me show you the timing of these storms for Perry and Houston County, Warner Robins in general. I think you could start to see some of the storms, start of the cells, 3 in the morning, but I think the bulk of the storms will be in your neck of the woods by 4, 5 in the morning. Now, one thing to note, these storms are not the same in terms of how fast they move as compared to the other storms. Some of the other storms we've seen have been completely fast movers. They just make a mad dash across central Georgia. These storms are a little different. They're slow movers. And that's not the best thing because we want it to be really fast. We want you to experience the worst of these storms quickly. And then once they move out of your neck of the woods, you'll be fine. But unfortunately, that's not the case with these storms. They're slow movers, so you'll be within a risk for a longer period of time. But in terms to answer your question, once again, Perry, 3 to 5 in the morning. I think that'll be the timing of when you'll see these storms. Driving up from Byron around 7:30 to Atlanta for a flight, what's it looking like then? So if you mean 7:30 tonight, I don't think you're going to see anything around 7:30. I'm a little concerned about your flight, depending on what time your flight is. Hopefully your flight is not later at the night because I think if it's later in the night, so it's a 10 o'clock flight, maybe you'll be good for a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock flight. Atlanta is right around midnight to 1 in the morning. So hopefully your flight leaves earlier, but I think you'll be fine overall. Do seniors in Northside Senior Village need to congregate on the first floor in a closed area? Yes, so Mary Turner, great point, because a lot of people live in apartments. We need you in the lowest level. So if you're within a closed set of apartments, so if they're all connected together, yes, please go to your lowest level. If you're in a garden-style apartments, hopefully your clubhouse will be open. And if not, I'd suggest, like if anyone's living in a mobile home as well, I suggest having a friend, family, relative that lives in a house or lives in a closed set of apartments just to stay with them for the night. That way, if you're in a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning, you'll know, hey, we can go in the lowest level and we don't have to risk any unnecessary stuff for that time. So what does it look like for Dooley County? So for Dooley County, same thing as I mentioned for Cordele and Crisp County, around the same time. So 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, you're in that level 3 and you're kind of close to the level 4, so you can see some strong winds, but you'll be one of the first people to experience it. It'll be gone by 6 in the morning. But once again, strong winds are possible, and of course the increased chances of tornadoes since you're within that zone where you're west of I-75 in central Georgia. Tom Pinkston, when do I expect this to impact Macon? Once again, I expect this to impact Macon 4. 3 in the morning, I think you could see some cells ahead of it, but 4, I think the main line will be moving, and then it will be gone by close to the later portions of 5, 6 in the morning. I think most of it will be gone by then. But you're in that level 3. It'll be gradually weakening, but you can see some strong winds, and you have that chance of seeing a tornado. Same thing for Twiggs County, Wilkinson County, a little later than Bibb County. So actually, this is a good time frame. 6 in the morning is when a lot of the storms will be affecting you, but I'm going to go back. 4 in the morning, that's when the storms will start to creep in your neck of the woods. And then, so I'll give you the time frame 4 to the later portions of 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning to be safe. There we go. Yeah, 7 in the morning to be safe. I'm in East Dublin. My house is made of sheetrock. I have a big tree with a large limb over my house. What I need to do? Once again, I suggest, just like those places, the question in regards to that apartment, if they're not in the lowest level, I suggest just riding out the night away from windows. That's what I suggest. If you can identify your safe spot, I suggest being near that as much as possible and sleeping just away from windows and having some walls in between you and the outside. Okay, once again, high Macon area. Answer that once again. Time frame for Macon, you can see some discrete cells ahead of it, 3 in the morning, but the overall timing for the bulk of the line, 4 to 6 in the morning. You're within that level 3, so you can see the increased winds and that chance of tornado. Next question below that, Dawn, Sharp, Cox, Jones County, same timing as Bibb County and Macon. So some cells but from 3 in the morning, but the overall time, 4 to 6 in the morning. How bad is it supposed to be 7 in the morning? 7 in the morning. It depends on where you live. So for most of central Georgia, 7 in the morning, it will be out of our neck of the woods. But around this time, it's going to be affecting the far southeastern counties, such as Telfair, Wheeler, and portions of Dodge County and portions of Lawrence County. So it depends on where you live. If you live in these areas, then yes, you're going to see storms during 7 in the morning. But if you live for the majority of central Georgia, so for the west, north, Macon, Warner Robins, Perry, Dublin, it will be gone. So that's what's going to look like at 7 in the morning. Unfortunately, I just don't know where you live. So I think that's all the questions so far. So I'm just going to go back to this graphic right here. So once again, I said this before, but I'd just like to close with this message because, yeah, I've seen so many comments, so many people just highlighting their anxieties about these storms. The reason why I got into this business was because I was deathly afraid of tornadoes as a kid, and then I ended up researching them, and I just became fascinated by them. But all in all, I learned that there's just a lot of things that you could do to mitigate that risk, to help ease that anxieties. Now, sometimes it's just not enough. You'll still be scared, even if you do all of these 3 things. That's why we are here. And Ben Jones, he's been a great mentor. He's been a great teacher. He's instilled in me that we are the calm in the storm. We will be with you. We'll hold your hand all throughout the night. We'll hold your hand all throughout the storms. That is why we're here. That is our main mission. Not only to keep you informed and tell you what the weather is going to be, but to also ease your fears as well. So that is my main message. So this is the last live stream I'm going to do for today. I'm going to be back on the 6 o'clock show. That's going to be a traditional show like any other show. And then Ben Jones, the man, is going to come with his sleeves up, 9 o'clock live stream. And then he's also going to do the 11 o'clock show. And then once the storms come on rolling, we'll be here. I'll be with Ben Jones, so we'll tag team the coverage. I'll be here from 3:30. Then Ansley Parker, she will come in and we will switch off and she will take over for the rest of the coverage. Ben Jones, he's going to stay and he's going to do the entirety of the coverage. So don't worry. Ben Jones is going to do all the wall-to-wall coverage throughout the storms. And until the storms leave, that's when we'll be here throughout the entirety of the time. So with all of that, I had a pleasure talking to you. Hopefully you have a better idea of what the storms are going to be, and hopefully I could help ease some of the anxieties that you have. So with that, I'll see you back here for 6 o'clock, and have a safe night, Central Georgia.